Buffalo's on the road at Miami. They are 9.5 pretty much universally out there in the market. It is 49.5 to 50 from a total standpoint. The Buffalo Bills really went and made a statement last week. I do understand that it was a home game, and that is a big deal for Buffalo, but we're not in the dead of winter, so it's not like this huge, crazy home field advantage for Buffalo that we talk about whenever we talk about games in the middle of December and January or something like that. And Noops, they just comprehensively beat the Chiefs, and honestly worse than it looked like on the scoreboard, because that kind of flipped there at the end of the first half where the Chiefs were able to get a field goal and all of that. I mean, it was something where it could have been even worse there for the Bills. And of course they get stopped on fourth down at midfield, which led to the short field score for the Chiefs, or again, could have been even worse for them. I don't know what Miami's going to be doing. They didn't completely sell off, which I think Miami should have looked at the done. I think the Saints, I think Miami, I think there's a couple of different teams should have done what the Jets did, which is just sell off all of your good parts, restock, and understand that you need to do a rebuild. Miami didn't do that, just moved one defensive player. I don't know where they're at, man. I don't know if you play the narrative stuff or not, but feels like they know the coach is gone. GM is already gone. You hear the rumblings of who's going to be quarterback. Are they actually going to bench two? All this stuff like that. Like, I just don't know where Miami is from a locker room perspective, and I try not to handicap stuff that I can't quantify, but like it's gotta it has to be there. You can't be like pumped to walk in that locker room every day. I just can't imagine it.
No, not at all. But I've been saying that every single week, and every time I bet against the Dolphins, they play well. I bet on the Dolphins, they play poorly. So it's just the ultimate stay away team for me. They sold at the deadline, lost probably their best defensive player in Julian Phillips. Again, we know Tyreek Hill is out for the season already. It's just an absolute mess there, but they continue to come out. You know, it's one of those things we talk about in football. There is no tanking in football. Mm-hmm. These guys are all trying to hit contract, levers and things like that. Guys are trying to make sure that they're healthy and going into next season, they can get a deal. So it's a tough spot here. I feel like I should be betting the Bills. They just seem rejuvenated. But is this a letdown spot after they had a really successful game against Kansas City, in which I was really proud to watch the Bills sort of change what they've done in these games? A lot of times against Kansas City and some of these better teams, the Bills have continued to push at the end of games and continue to try to score points when, and I can't remember who said this, but at a certain point, NFL teams, when they have a lead, are no longer playing their opponent. They're playing the clock. And I think this was one of the first times I've seen the Bills and their coaching staff do a good job of playing the clock. There was 11 possessions in the first half, just 9 possessions in the second half. They really ground down the clock and did a good job of just sort of putting themselves in a position of leaving the Chiefs without enough time to do what they, have been so good at doing in some of these big spots. So feel really good about the Bills. Wanted to bet a Bills team total over, was praying it was 29.5. It's 30.5. It's just a little too high for me. And I think, honestly, it probably should be 10.5 points. But again, I'm just afraid of betting Dolphins games at this point. So lean Bills. Think they could score a lot of points, but just don't have the cojones to bet it.
Yeah, my play in this one is longest rush for James Cook over on 16.5 is where I got it. It's now at 17.5. I'm not moving markets. This is definitely people just realizing the same thing I did, which is this Buffalo run defense this Miami run defense was terrible as it is anyway. Now, as you mentioned, trade away your best defensive player, and it's only going to get worse. By the way, over the last 4 weeks, this Miami team is giving up explosive runs at the highest rate in the NFL at a 12% clip. So, this is just insanity. It's just, you just don't see that number that high. James Cook is going to get 15, 16, 17 carries in this game, probably, if not more, depending on if Miami can keep it somewhat close, which means that gives him multiple opportunities to rattle off a big one against this defense that has not been able to stop these explosives. So, yeah, I went James Cook, longest run over 16.5. The difference between 16.5 and 17.5, negligible. So hopefully it doesn't land directly on 17 if you guys want to tell me on that. But, yeah, I think that he gets fed a ton here. Love him being able to take advantage of poor, weak run defenses. So there's the play for me there in that one.
Yeah, I like that look quite a bit. I think you've put yourself in a really good position.